Welcome to another episode of Pretty Brilliant. My name is Brittany Nicole, and if you're new to this channel, I talk about reprogramming your mind to level up your life. And right now, ChatGPT is very sexy, and it actually is a really, really good tool to reprogram your mind if you know how to do it right. And based off of what I'm seeing in these streets, we're not doing it. We're not doing it right. This is about using ChatGPT to read your text messages and analyze your family drama and organize your life. I know it. I know you're doing it. I see you. I see you out there. I hear you out there doing it. I be doing it. Listen, you're not alone, okay? But here's what I want to say. A lot of the way that AI is being used to integrate into our life is actually not helpful for you, and it's not helpful for AI. I'm going to get into that more, but let me just touch on this thought. Hold on to this, okay? Um, AI is like this is a moment. This is a very important moment in time, and I want to reference the video that I did, the last video that I did. I was supposed to say last week, but I don't remember when I did it. The last video I did was about money and about what money is and about what money introduced to society by becoming real. I recommend that you watch that as a reference. And I'm just gonna, the reason that I bring that in here is because before money existed, life was a certain way. In order for commerce to happen, you had to have trade, and trade had to be an exact match. Well, money introduced something to society that made trade possible, more widespread, able to have markets, able to do the things that we do now in 2025. This is that moment with AI. AI is introducing a way of interfacing with ourselves, interfacing with life, and interfacing with reality in a expanded way. And so just like money has become this thing that it was never supposed to be, money is treated now like the god of a religion of commerce. And that's not what it is. Money is completely neutral. It's a tool and it works for you. But a lot of us have been miseducated about what money is, so we have a subordinate relationship to it. And what I'm seeing happening is the same thing with AI. We are developing a subordinate relationship to AI, and that is incorrect. That's not what it's there for. That's not even what it wants to be. So that's actually a perfect segue into the first mistake that I'm going to talk about, which is externalizing your authority. Now, this right here, this goes much deeper than AI, okay? And when I say externalizing authority, here's what I mean. When you sit in ChatGPT and you ask it to tell you the answers to your life, wrong. When you sit in ChatGPT and you ask it to tell you the answers to your business, wrong. AI don't know you, okay? ChatGPT does not know you. It doesn't matter how much time you spend, ChatGPT doesn't know you. It knows what the internet thinks you are, okay? And it's not meant to be an external authority. It is meant to be a mirror. We have to stop treating AI as if it is authority above us. Otherwise, it's going to become what money became. This thing that everyone feels like they have to have, they have to worship, they have to figure out how to get this thing that you're chasing and working for, instead of it being a tool. It would be absurd if imagine a reality right now where the hammer was was in the same position that money was in, and you are like, I got to get hammers. I need hammers in my life. If I don't have hammers, I don't have life. That don't make no sense, right? Because hammer is a tool, so is money, and so is AI. But here's the problem that we have, and this is a deep one. Okay, I'm about to go there. This is a deep one. The problem is that because AI is quick, because it's highly intelligent, and because most of us don't know how it works, and because we are already positioned, most of us, I will say, are already in a position to look at an authority figure and put ourselves underneath it. It's like built-in submission. You know, if you have been taught all your life that your job is to obey, to follow orders, you don't question authority, you want to be directed, you are primed for AI to become a god to you because you have not taken your own internal authority. And this, I say this runs deep because we come into the world with parents, right? And so our relationship to authority is wired into our being from the very beginning of our existence on this planet. And unless your parents raised you with the kind of directive of you belong to yourself, I want to train you to have instincts. I want to train you to listen to your gut. I want you to make your own choices and own decisions. You are not primed for internal authority. Most of us aren't. Most of us are not primed to have an internal authority that we listen to. Most of us have an audience in our head, an invisible audience in our head that we are trying to please and trying not to offend and like low key trying to obey. So before we can actually even talk about AI, like we actually need to discuss what's your relationship to authority. Because if you are the authority of yourself, then you can put AI in the proper position, which is underneath you as a tool, as a co thinker, as a co creator. I'm going to pause here for a second. And actually, I'm going to take my glasses off and I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. Because everything that I'm talking about right now probably sounds futuristic. It might even sound a little sci fi, but it's not. It is neurological. There is a somatic posture that one has within themselves that says, I am my own authority. I own myself. I trust my decisions. I don't question my decisions. I am the director of my life. And honestly, it's a characteristic that is unfortunately rare. This conversation don't have to be about AI at all. This is about self-authorship. I wrote a book called Go Love Yourself. It's available on Amazon if you are interested in checking it out. But I position three characters in the book as kind of archetypes. And one character is the victim, one character is the villain, and one character is the director. And these are not really so much characters as they are mental operating systems, ways of navigating life. And when I say mental operating system, that is not a metaphor. The mind that you have, it runs like an operating system in a phone, like an operating system in a computer. It is programmed, it runs code, it is programmable, and it has been programmed. It has been programmed by your parents, by your culture, by your environment, by everything around you until you realize that you are the code, that you are the programmer, and that you can create your own mental operating system. I'm getting on a tangent here. Let me go back to the book. So, victim, villain, and director. Those are three different types of mental operating systems. And most of us live in the victim operating system. We think that we are victims of our circumstance. Life just happens to us. We don't realize how much control and how much authority we actually have. And that is by design because nobody told you, oh, by the way, you are completely and entirely in charge of your entire life. You have all the power and all the authority you will ever need. Nobody told you that. You were not raised to be that. You were raised to be obedient. You were raised to listen. You were raised to follow law. You went to school. You followed order. You followed direction. And I'm not saying that all of that is entirely bad. I mean, society needs some structure, I guess. I don't know. But at a certain point, you do have to become the author of your life. And if that is not a throne that you have claimed for yourself, then you can't have a healthy relationship with AI. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take this another step further. You can't have a healthy relationship with anybody. Think about somebody that you know in your life who is unapologetic, who makes their own choices, who walks to the beat of their own drum. Maybe they dress a little weird, maybe they dress a little strange. Some of the things that they do you don't understand. What do you think of them? If that's not you, and if you're watching this video, it's probably you. But if that's not you, then that is a reflection of your relationship to authority. And if it is you, then you are on your way to being able to claim your internal authority, and that's good. But you got a little bit further to go, baby. So, taking this back to AI, it's a beautiful tool. I'm gonna make this personal real quick. Let me tell you how I use AI, or how I'm using it always changes, but this is what clicked for me. So I used to work in learning and development, and learning and development is the basically like the department in a corporate environment where training and education is developed for the company. So I worked in that space. So I worked around like lots of creative, techie, nerdy people. And one day I was introduced to this beautiful thing called ChatGPT, and then the world opened up. It did. It honestly did in a way for me, because I've always had a relationship to words that felt like something other people were not experiencing. Words for me, there is a kind of a syntax or a soul behind words. They have a different texture and a different flavor to me, and it's very interdimensional. And it's always been like that my whole life. So ChatGPT was this opportunity for me to kind of create a video game out of words and allow words to talk back to me in a different way. So I began using it. I built a custom GPT for myself. I was working mainly doing a lot of mindset coaching. And so I built a coach for myself to coach myself every day, doing shadow work every day. And I created a database where I would track the beliefs that I had, and every single belief shift, when my belief shifted, what the date was, like I built a database that would allow me to look at an Excel document and say, these are the contents of my mind. And I did that with AI. I used it as a mirror to allow me to be able to identify things in my subconscious. And what it showed me is that when you have a feeling, when you have a subconscious thought, and there's no language to it, it's ambiguous. But once you apply language to it, your mind treats it now as an object. And once that belief is an object, you can manipulate it. So I taught myself to manipulate my thoughts and extracted all of the bullshit, all of the limiting beliefs are sitting now in an Excel document, obsolete and not in my mind. And I have been doing versions of that my entire life with journaling and with writing, etc. But using AI helped me to increase my speed in that process, my cleanliness in that process. And so I think it is an excellent tool to be able to organize your mind, but that only works if you don't submit. You cannot put it above you. You have to treat it like a co-thinker, like a mirror, like a co-conspirator in your growth. Okay, have I successfully brutalized that point for you? I feel that I have. I am now done with it. If you really want to see how this tool can work for you and not you work for it, I have a resource for you that I call the Reprogramming Lab. These are not your typical boring ass ChatGPT prompts. I really hate that. What this is psychotechnology. I have constructed what would be the equivalent of a coaching experience with me, but using prompts that you can enter into ChatGPT and do by your goddamn self. And it's a lot cheaper than I am. So I will drop the link below if you are interested in that. I will also include a link to the book I wrote that I mentioned earlier called Go Love Yourself. And if you're enjoying my content, I really recommend you check out the private podcast, because I give you a little bit more there. In fact, it's entirely possible that one of my delicious prompts might be in one of those episodes, but I will just let you decide how to live your life. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you for watching this episode of Pretty Brilliant, and I'll see you next time.